Welcome back to another Python tutorial. We're continuing our discussion on the EDGAR search queries. So in our last video, we went over basically how the EDGAR search queries work, looking at the pages and understanding that, okay, if we put in certain parameters, then we can get different types of results, things like that. We saw that we can get to this nice little page that will allow us to do very specific types of searches. So maybe I want a particular company and all that company's 10Ks, for example. So we can build those searches. And the nice thing is it creates a nice little URL for us that we can programmatically go and grab and then return that information back to us. And we saw that that information can come back to us in an XML format. And so in this video, what we're going to be doing is parsing this XML format to get all of these filings. So all these wonderful filings. And we're going to show you how to basically build a dictionary that will house all the filings that you're looking for. So pretty useful information if you think about it. Definitely comes in handy when you are going and getting just a bunch of different filings. So with that being said, let's get started. So what I've done before is we saw how to make two different types of request. Right now, I'm going to use this request right up here because this is actually getting the 10Ks and all the items from Microsoft, which I do want. We'll notice that if we click this little URL, it will take us to this page. That is basically an XML version of all the data that we would find on this particular page if we had typed in, 10K, for example. And it's loading. Oh, sorry. It's very picky sometimes, as I've learned. So it's as if we had done this particular type of search, and now we want to basically parse this table right here. So with that, let's do the first thing, which is we've got to find all the particular tags that contain each one of these items. Well, if you look at the XML, it's pretty easy to see right away that we're looking for our entry tags. And so the entry tags contains all the information we need in order to get our filing. So the first thing is we need to find all the entry tags. And so we're going to do entries equals soup.findAll entry. Now, in some later videos, I'm going to show you there's actually a library out there that we can use that will make our lives a little bit easier, but I kind of like to show different types of examples. So in this particular example, I'm going to kind of show you the harder way of doing it, but I think it's good that we understand how to do that way, just in case, we might not have access to that library or whatever. This way we can do it the normal way. So from here, we need to initialize a list, which is basically going to house all of our entries. And so we'll initialize our list for storage. I just call it master list. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Oh, I guess I call it master list XML. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes and the sun's shining right on it. We need to loop through each entry. So that's pretty straightforward. So we'll say for entry in entries. What are we going to do with it? Well, there's a couple different pieces of information that might be useful. And so something that's kind of unique to each one of these, if I can find it. Perfect. The ascension number. So this is something that should be unique across all of these wonderful forms. And so if we're going to create like a list of dictionaries, it probably makes sense to have this be kind of our key, because this one is going to be what we would consider the unique item in it. So the first thing we'll do is we'll grab that number. And so we can create a key value. And so we'll give it a nice little variable name. We'll call it ascension number. And then we'll say entry dot find. And then here comes the fun part. It's going to be typing, which is always a joy, to say the least. And just so you guys can see that it does return something, because naturally you want to make sure it returns something. Did I misspell it wrong? Oh. Oh, that's stupid. Well, talk about typos. It's not number, it's number. Because that makes it easier. Oh man, that's going to cause all sorts of problems. So yeah, apparently that is a typo. That's the raw XML itself. It's not number, it's number. Well, this is going to be real fun. All right, but you can see it is printing out each one. The nice thing is, like I said, they all are unique. So that's really kind of the important part, is that's kind of the key in our dictionary. So we'll create a new dictionary, and we'll say entry dictionary equals a new dictionary, and then we'll say entry, and then okay, perfect, and then that one will also equal. So basically, like it's kind of like a dictionary within a dictionary, if you want to think about it. Okay, and then from here we can kind of move on to the next section. Let's get the category info. And so the category info is, what is it? It's the label, the scheme, and the term. So this is kind of like one of those unique ones where it's not going to be the normal way we'll parse it, but it's kind of that one-off one that we have to treat a little bit differently. So we'll store the category info, and we'll say category info equals entry.find, and then category. And then we'll say entry dictionary. Oh God, this is going to be fun. I'm going to have to copy this a couple times. You'll notice that a big chunk of my video, I'm literally just creating keys for a dictionary. Category, and then that's going to equal its own little dictionary. And then from here, we will do label, and that will equal category info. Because this is an attribute, we can actually access it using a key inside a beautiful soup. So that's what we're going to do there. And then we will do the scheme. And then we will do the term. So we got scheme, term, and label. And again, because these are attributes, you actually can access them almost like a dictionary. So that's kind of the nice thing about Beautiful Soup, is it does make it a little bit easier in some regard. So just, again, for sanity's sake, just to make sure I'm not losing my mind, let's... Okay, perfect. So again, this is just kind of me going back and saying, okay, it's working. I want to make sure it works before I start, going down. So that's getting the category information. I think at this point, it kind of makes sense to go and get the actual file content as well. I might not get all of it, but we'll probably get most of it for the most part. I think so. Well, we'll get most of it. Okay, so we'll store the file info. Again, it's pretty much the same. We're going to kind of take this little guy right here, and we'll call this one file info. So this is going to also be a dictionary. And then from here, it's going to be just repeating this like a bunch of times. But I'm going to do it one time, and then I'm just going to kind of populate everything and then kind of go back and go from there. And so this one, I want to find the ACT, and then I want to call the text property. You could also use the get text method. You just got to be a little bit careful with that sometimes, because if it's a none object, it will, I don't want to do that. It's not going to work like that. I want to make sure that this is, perfect. Okay. Account, file number, and then I want the file number href, and then I want filing date, filing date, filing href, filing href, filing type, and then filing type, form number, we want the form name, I want the file size, the file size, and then this one will be size, this one will be form name. You can tell that a lot of it is just me being really picky. Wait, what? Did I just say that? Film number. Yeah, see, again, this is just like stuff where it's not intuitive. Filing type. Filing href, and then filing date, and then file number href, number. Uh-oh, did I misspell it? Filing. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing. It does get picky if you don't put in the right stuff. What do you mean? It's got an account. Account. Oh. There's one that doesn't have an account. There's two that don't have an account. Oh, Lord. That's probably why. Well, what you could do in that situation, you just do a try and accept. And in that case, what you'll do is just have it equal nothing. That's basically the quickest and easiest way of doing that. I guess I'll have to play around with it a little bit more. So it sounds like the account number or the ACT, whatever that is not necessarily going to be in all of them. And it seemed like it was more isolated, I would say, to the it looked like the older ones. So that might be something with the older ones. It's not necessarily there, but you can kind of tell at this point, you know, we're doing a pretty good job so far building the actual dictionary. I guess, is there really anything else? Well, it's another one that looks like it's not necessarily going to be there. So there were some up there when I was looking at the top. Maybe I was looking, I don't know. See, sometimes like when I look at a bunch of them, yeah, like this thing right here. So that might be not in all of them. And so I'll probably have to wrap that one in a try and accept statement too. This one, XBRL href, is that what it is? XBRL href. Okay. I know what it's doing. It's I think that's the link to the interactive data. And so that kind of makes sense why it's not in all of them, because that's not necessarily going to be there all the time. I am kind of curious though, because I haven't really come across XBRL href. Oh no, that's an underscore. Yeah, here we go. I'm kind of curious to see what this takes us to, because I haven't come across this one yet. It's thinking, it's thinking, it's thinking. Yeah, so this is just the interactive data. So apparently if you add, so that's also another parameter too. Lucky us, right? It's another one to add to our little list of parameters, but that one actually takes you to the interactive data. So, again, useful information, you might want that. It's not necessarily always going to be something necessarily you need, but it's good to know it's there in case you need it. So now we're going to store some of the extra stuff. This is like, things that are more related to like the request info and stuff like that. That's kind of how I like to think about it. Where am I? We'll put that here, and we will call this request info. It's still going to be a dictionary, but with this one, it's only, I think, like 3 or 4 items. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. And then this one will be the link. This one will be the title. And then this one will be last updated. Last updated. And then entry find link. So that's a specific tag. And then get the href property. This is entry.find title. And then that one we want the text though. And then this one is going to be entry find updated. And then this one again is also going to be your text. And then at the end of all this, assuming that we've, got everything, store in the master list. And so we'll say master list XML dot append, and then entry dictionary. And I want to make sure that's good. And then we'll kind of go from there. Cool. Looks like it's good so far. I'll insert a cell below so that way we can see it. Obviously, this is going to return everything. So let's say we just look at the first one. So like I said, we kind of built it in a particular way. We've got our ascension number. We got our category with the label, the scheme, and the term info. We've got our file info, and we've got our request info. So again, say, hey, I want to access the category info, right? Oh, geez. Oh, well, we need technically the access, that one. So this is something you would probably do in a loop if you were like me and you didn't want to go through the hassle. And then you can say, hey, I want the category. Oh, no, maybe I want the request info. There's your request info. And then what's one? The file info. That's kind of where the heart of this stuff is, the stuff we care about. We want the file info. So now you've got all the information about your filing, and more importantly, you've got some information that will actually take you to a new page that where you can get some other information. So like right here, here's your index HTML file. Here is your filing. So like if you had done the query yourself, this is where that would take you. So if I was to go here and plop this in here, what would we get? Well, we would see all the filings for this particular, filing number. Just, if you were kind of curious. So you can see these ones all have the same file, and then it's got the film number as well. So again, just different ways of how you can get to certain queries without actually having to type it in. It is kind of nice, I'm not going to lie, but it also kind of depends what you're doing as well. Now, you could technically, where is it? You probably could take one of the other ones, the form number. You could take this one and add it to like right here, for example, and you probably could do another type of query as well. So there is that kind of option as well. And so I think at that point, I'm going to kind of cut off the video. So if you have any questions about, um, you know, parsing it, how to get certain information, maybe how to structure it, things along that nature, obviously, please put them down in the comments below. As always, I'll try to get back to you. Also, if you could, please make sure to like the video. We always appreciate the support. And if you're not already, please make sure to subscribe to the channel so that way you get regular updates as we release new videos. In our next one, we're going to show you how to do like a pagination where you can go to the next page if you have a certain request, for example, that has just a ton of files. Might bring back 200 or 300. In that case, you're going to have to do multiple requests. So I will be showing you how to do that as well. So thank you again for watching, everybody. We will see you in the next video.